Hi guys, this is Tara. For our video this month, I thought I would talk about how to paint skies. And since our illustration this month happens to find our hiker on kind of a stormier part of his hike, I'm going to start with kind of a stormier sky that I'm going to paint. So clouds are getting darker. The illustration that came before this one, you can see the sky was starting to get a little bit darker in there. So I'm going to continue getting a little darker with my clouds as the storm starts to build. So I have the hillside here, I have my mountains already painted, and so my sky is ready to go. Now, to start with, you can't really tell on this paper plate palette I have going here, but I have already squeezed out of the tube some white paint, some kind of sky blue lighter paint. It's actually cerulean blue. And then I have some black paint. So those are the three that I'm going to be using in my sky today. And it is going to be mostly a lot of the black mixed in to get the darker sky. So I'm going to start by kind of starting to mix a little more black with my cerulean blue to get it a little bit darker in there. Okay, so I have this dark blue here. And what I'm going to start out by doing is just starting to add it to my sky. And I may add a little bit of blue as I go. But I'm trying to get a good section kind of covered with this darker color. Okay, now while the paint is still wet, so you may, if you're painting, you may want to just work on a smaller section at a time. I'm going to take some white paint on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to go in and start working on building up some clouds. Now because my clouds, so I'm kind of starting towards the top, because my clouds are going to be stormy, I'm going to also get some black on my brush too to try to start building in some of those darker colors in there. And if your paint is still wet, what should be happening is that your paint that you had down should be kind of mixing with the clouds that you have going on there. And I like it on the tip of the brush because I like to have those lines for where my clouds are in the sky. Kind of that little highlight on the top of the cloud. And when I'm painting with my brush, I'm doing kind of a circular motion. So my brush is going around and around like this to help kind of get that texture in the sky and get the cloud patterns going. Okay, so my last step when I'm looking at the clouds and what I need to do, and I've already started doing it here, but I mix my dark color again, and then I'll go back and start to add a little more dark shadows in there with the clouds, and that'll kind of help build up my texture. And it's kind of a back and forth. I'll you know, add some dark shadows in there. And then if I end up getting too much of a shadow going, then I can go back and add a little more of my light in there. But since this is a pretty angry sky and the hiker is getting really close to being hailed and rained on, I'm going to go in with some shadows and really make sure it's a nice dark sky in there. So that is my tutorial for this month on how to paint an angry sky. Next month, because I'll be going back and I'll actually be doing an illustration that I want to go in between two other ones that I already did, the sky will be much lighter blue and I'll have a few clouds in the sky. So next month, tune in for how to paint happier skies. And until then, enjoy your July and your beginning of your August. And thanks for tuning in.